Claude Design might be the most impressive AI design tool ever released. It's also somehow the most frustrating. One landing page with a few tweaks, and you've already burned 15% of your weekly budget on the $200 a month plan. So someone built a fix, Huashu Design, an open source skill that clones Claude Design's core capabilities and runs inside Claude code. 7,300 GitHub stars in 1 week. That's not nothing. We ran 3 head-to-head tests, same prompts, same goals. And the token gap is almost embarrassing, 15% of your weekly limit versus less than 1%. Let's get into it. Here's the thing. Claude Design's visual interface is genuinely stunning. The tweak system, where you swap colors, layouts, and typography with one click? Revolutionary. But it runs on a completely separate quota, and that quota disappears fast. Look at these numbers. 3 landing page variants, 10%. Expand the tweaks, another 5%. Create a design system, 30%. 1 slide deck at 6%. 1 project, half your weekly budget. Gone. If you're a solo developer prototyping 3 ideas before launch, Claude Design becomes a genuine bottleneck. That's exactly the gap Huashu Design fills. It uses your regular Claude code tokens, not that separate capped allocation. So what actually is it? Huashu Design is an open-source GitHub repo. One skill file that packages Claude Design's system prompts and design philosophies into something any coding agent can use. Install it with one npx command, takes about 2 seconds. But it's not just a wrapper. Under the hood, there are 20 deep dive markdown files covering slide decks, animation, layout philosophies, a brand asset protocol that extracts real color values from official sources, not guessing, and a 5-dimension design critique that grades every output. And here's something Claude Design flat out can't do. MP4 and GIF exports, 60 FPS interpolation, background music support, plus Playwright verified prototypes so the AI actually checks that your clickable elements work. That's a real differentiator. Now, the first test. Both tools got the exact same prompt. Build a landing page for a fictional SaaS called Lighthouse, an analytics platform for solo developers. 3 visual variants each. Let's see what happened. Claude Design started by asking visual direction questions you could click on. Then it produced 3 variants, terminal, editorial, spatial, with a full tweak panel already attached. Swap light and dark mode, change accent colors, toggle layouts. 1 click, this costs 15% of the weekly budget. Huashu asked 6 structured questions first: product description, target buyer, vibe, sections. Then it produced 3 variants: ledger, terminal, paper. Variant selector and tweak system baked right into the HTML. Total cost? 170k tokens, less than 1% of weekly usage. The quality gap was surprisingly small. Claude Design had slightly more polish, better gradients, more refined spacing. But Huashu's output was a massive leap over what Claude Code produces without a design skill. Both tools made fully responsive, professional pages. The difference is Claude Design ate 15x more of your budget. But that was the easy test. Test 2 raises the difficulty. Both tools were given an existing dashboard design and told to create a new landing page that matches its visual identity. Same fonts, same colors, same design family. Claude Design has a dedicated design system feature. It extracts spacing, components, color palettes, and typography from any code base. Ensures everything looks like it came from the same product. The downside, creating that system alone eats 30% of your weekly usage. Claude Design had the edge here. 3 minutes, 10% weekly usage, nearly pixel for perfect match. It even recreated a dashboard section inside the landing page. Huashu took 11 minutes and didn't attempt the dashboard, but it got the fonts, colors and component styles right. It basically built its own design system on the fly from the reference files. That's impressive for a terminal skill. And the third test, slide deck creation, using the same design system from test 2. Claude Design knocked this out in a couple of minutes at 6% weekly usage. Consistent color schemes, proper spacing, clean typography across every slide. Huashu produced slides that were visually consistent with the landing page it had just built. Same icon style, same color palette. There were minor issues. Text overlapped on 2 slides. A follow-up prompt would fix it. But the design quality was comparable, and the cost was a fraction. The takeaway from all 3 tests is consistent. Huashu Design competes at roughly 80 to 90% of Claude Design's quality, for roughly 1 to 5% of the usage cost. For most practical purposes, That's more than enough. Here's the full cost comparison. Landing page with tweaks, 15% weekly versus 170k tokens. Design system page, 10% versus 70k. Slide deck, 6% versus 50k. Total. Claude Design burned 31% of the weekly limit. Huashu used about 2%. On a pro plan, that 290k tokens is basically a rounding error, and that's the real issue. If you're prototyping 3 or 4 ideas a week, Claude Design's limits become genuinely restrictive. Huashu doesn't have that problem. There's no separate design quota. It's just regular Claude usage, no ceiling. Setup takes less than 10 seconds. One npx command, npx skills add al-chain saif to Huashu Design, and then you just prompt naturally. Use the design skill to create a landing page. That's it. Works with Claude Code, Cursor, Codex, any agent that supports skill.md format, free for personal use. And it goes beyond landing pages and slide decks. Interactive prototypes, iOS and Android mockups with real clickable elements, verified by Playwright. Motion design, MP4 and GIF exports. Data visualization, and that 5-dimension design critique that grades your output with a radar chart. Honestly, that last one is underrated. So here's the full picture. Claude Design wins on the GUI, draw, edit, comment, team collaboration, native design systems that persist across projects. Huashu wins on cost, MP4 and GIF exports, Playwright verified prototypes, and the ability to run on any agent. These are genuinely different tools. And the developer community noticed 7,300 GitHub stars in 1 week. The creator, Huasheng, 300k followers across platforms, released this 3 days after Claude Design launched. 3 days, that's a fast response. So which one wins? Honestly, that's the wrong question. After 3 tests, the answer isn't one is better than the other. It's that they serve completely different users. Let me break it down. Use Claude Design if you're collaborating with a team. If you need to draw on designs, click elements, visually edit things. If you have budget for the 20x plan and can live within the weekly limits. Speed matters too. 3 minutes versus 11 is real. But use Huashu Design if you're a solo developer or freelancer prototyping multiple ideas. If Claude Design's limits are blocking your workflow. If you need MP4 exports. If you want the same design skill running across different agents. For most individual users, Huashu is the practical choice. 80 to 90% of the quality, 1 to 5% of the usage cost. Free and open source. If you're the kind of person who prototypes 3 ideas before lunch, Huashu Design removes the ceiling. That's the whole argument. The GitHub repo is linked in the description. 1 npx command, and you're running. Full review with the complete feature comparison table is at PopularAiTools.ai. And if you've found an open source design tool we should cover next, drop it in the comments.